Hi, welcome to class number 10. This is called Leadership, Duplicating the Process. So you have learned so much. Do you feel good about it, how much you've learned? I hope you do, because you have a lot of key teaching and substance inside of you. But now what we want to do is we want to really put a highlight on leadership, because really Advocare is a leadership compensation plan. The higher your leadership goes and the more you grow in leadership, the more your paycheck actually grows in line with that. So we want to teach you about leadership, and we're also going to cover large group events in more detail in this class, because large group events are leadership, because you're going to be leading a whole new crew of people into a large group event. To get people to these large group events, you need to have some leadership skills. And so we think that this class is just going to be really a clarifying point for you to really understand what leadership is.
Remember when we first got started in Advocare, and Advocare had what was called Leadership 2000, and it was a joint effort between our founder, Charlie Regis, and John Maxwell. And if you want to learn anything about leadership, you want to read some of John Maxwell's book, but it was a joint effort. And I was told, after I graduated from college, the last thing I wanted to do was read another book. But I realized, like you already said, Advocare's compensation plan is based upon leadership, influencing people in a positive way. And that's what this class is going to be covering. And I think it's going to be a great class, again, to revisit over and over again, because Advocare, again, it is all about leadership, impacting people, having folks follow you in your journey of Advocare. So let's join Jenny in class number 10.
Class 10 is called Leadership, Duplicating the Process. Okay? Leadership, Duplicating the Process. Advocare's compensation plan is primarily a leadership compensation plan. Leadership is one of those words that seems like, what is leadership? Is it a personality style? Is it somebody that's really outgoing? Is that person in your family that tells everybody what to do and everybody does it because they're just kind of scared of them and don't want to create waves? Is that a leader? Well, not necessarily. We're going to teach you about what leadership really is and what it's not. Leadership is not a personality style. A very good leader can be an extrovert or an introvert. Leadership is learned. Okay? So the definition of leadership, defined by John Maxwell, and that we're going to use in this class, is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Influence. Influence. And the way I like to think of influence is getting another person to do what they otherwise would not do. Getting a person to do what they otherwise would not do. So parenting is such a great example of leadership, because my kids don't look at the clock. I know there is that rare kid that goes, "It's my bedtime." Okay, I have 3 kids, didn't land one of those on all 3. Okay, they get tired and, accidentally fall asleep on the couch, but they have not got their teeth brushed, got their bath. They just don't do that at 5 years old and get themselves in bed in time. That would be awesome. I'd have a lot more kids if that happened probably, but leadership is, how can I get this child to do what they otherwise aren't going to do unless I'm doing that, right? So unfortunately, some of us didn't necessarily have leaders as parents. We had managers. The definition of management, because management and leadership are not the same thing, the definition of management is the process of dealing with or controlling things or people. Management is the process of dealing with or controlling things or people. That's management. Leadership is influencing people to do what they otherwise wouldn't do. Okay? So those are 2 different things. Management is part of Advocare and a very small part of Advocare. Leadership is how we get paid. We get paid to cast vision, to help people move forward, and do what they otherwise wouldn't do if you weren't painting vision and helping them see the light, right? Walking them out of a dark world into the light. So leadership is one of those things that some people say, oh, I want to be a leader, I just don't know how. It can be very intimidating. Now let me stop and say this. Not every person wants to be a leader in Advocare that you recruit. Not every person wants the responsibility, because it is a responsibility, and you just have to be okay with that. There are introducers and there are producers. An introducer is somebody that just kind of feeds you people, and you lead them. Now, don't get frustrated with that person. They're introducing to people. But sometimes you're going, okay, so are you going to like help these people? Nope, they're not. They're just going to introduce you to them. And we're going to talk about that concept in a minute. It's called leapfrogging. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in this class. Okay? So the introducer, just identify them for who they are. They don't want to be a leader. They don't want the responsibility. They don't want to come to the events you're talking about, but they do introduce you to people. So introducers bring you people to lead. Do not transfer leadership to those people who don't want to be leaders. Got it? I've done it before, and I was sorry I did it. Because other lives that needed a leader didn't get one. And they faded off. And I learned that mistake. And I learned it so that I don't do it again. Okay? Sometimes we want people to be leaders more than they want to be one, okay? So just be okay with that. Then there's producers. Producers, they are making the wheel go around. They're producing. They're helping their team. And that's hopefully what you are. You're a producer and an introducer. But you're producing. You're moving. You're making the Advocare army move forward. You're marching forward. You've suited up. You have the gear on. And we're moving forward. That's a producer. Somebody that's taking on leadership. So I'm going to talk to every one of you, because if you're in this boot camp and you're going through these activities and you're doing the homework, then I am willing to guess that you want to be a leader. Okay? Because this isn't about Bob and I managing people and putting everybody in their place so they can somehow make money. No, this is leadership. All of us leading. Now let me give you a word picture, because I'm big into word pictures, things that have come to me over the years. This is what I saw in my mind. I saw a big tent, okay, and leaders holding up this tent called Advocare. And leaders were holding up this tent, and there were just a few placed on the outskirts, and a whole bunch of people enjoying the cover, having a good time, walking around, enjoying products, enjoying the fellowship, enjoying the socializing. But then there were the few that were holding it up for everybody else. Okay? Don't start being mad that other people are not holding it up. Find people who want to share the load. I was made to hold up the tent. I don't know why. I don't feel like I chose that. I want to be somebody that leads. I really do. I want to be that. It's my DNA. It's who I am. And there's some people on this team that want to do that too. The majority of the army, they just want to go with you as you move the tent. They're just going to stay under and go with you. And that's wonderful. That is wonderful. They're going to enjoy the products. They're going to introduce you to some people. They're going to do a mixer sporadically. They may go to Success School. They may skip a few. They may come back into Success School. They might come to an event and surprise you. They might miss a couple. They might introduce you to somebody 3 years later. Wow, great. Super. Okay? But what we don't ever want to do, and this is what I call like the big leadership sin. It's probably a better word than that. But just probably the biggest mistake that we can make as a leader, and how come I know this? Because I've been there. I can only teach on what I have experienced myself, is to become critical. Critical. That is a trap set for you on purpose. When you get critical of people, what's happening is we're looking at other people holding it up and going, look, she only has one arm in the air. She's not holding with two arms. And look at them. I mean, didn't they just take a break 5 minutes ago and they're taking a break again? They should probably stand differently. And look at them. They're not even helping at all. I mean, you start nitpicking, criticizing, critical. And you know what's really going on under the surface? The reason we do that is because we're criticizing ourselves. It's a reflection of being overly critical of yourself. You're not happy with how many people have you recruited or not recruited. You're not happy with maybe what's happening lately. You're going through a tough season, and instead of celebrating growth and celebrating the 4 stages of a dream, remember from day 1, class number 1, the 4 stages, instead of developing skills, you're more mad at yourself maybe and critical, and you say things about yourself that aren't nice in your own mind, and you don't catch those thoughts. And so what happens? We start criticizing other people. So if you're critical of other people and you catch yourself doing that, let me tell you something. Be nice to you. Start saying things to yourself that are nice. I have a lady that came into our workout class for the first time today, and I told her, it's hard. She's like, but I don't want to be in pain. I go, well, that's inevitable, because that's part of it. That's the reason you work out, is to stretch and grow, and you're going to be sore tomorrow. And she said a few things to herself that I heard her say to herself, and I said, let's stop for a second. And she has 2 teenage daughters, and I said, what I want you to do is do 5 belief cards. You guys did your belief cards, right? And I said, I want you to write 5 belief cards out and write on there, you guys know the routine, how that goes. And I said, but every time you think something about yourself, I want you to say, is that a thought that my 2 teenage daughters, I hope they're having about themselves right now? And if it's not okay and not acceptable for your kids to be thinking about that about themselves, then it's not okay for you to think about that about yourself. When you start nitpicking your own body, you will start nitpicking other people's. When you nitpick your own business, you will nitpick other people's businesses, okay? So let's just clear the air on that right now. And I hope I saved somebody some trouble with that, because I've been through that, and it is not fun. And I have learned to not take myself so serious. I have learned that mixer bloopers are really funny, that I do. Okay, I have some mixer bloopers. I wish we had time that I could tell more stories during these curriculums. But for the sake of time, I can't. I mean, we have some funny stuff. We'll just sit around some distributors and we'll tell stories like just the funniest stuff that we've done or said. I mean, we've said some stuff that just, I mean, you just can't even get the words back. They're just out there floating around, But you can't care. I mean, I came home from a mixer like 2 weeks ago and told Bob, I was like, oh man, that was like mixer crime. Like I just did one bad thing after the next. I was like on a total roll of like what not to do. I felt like I was on a what not to do mixer all by myself, and I couldn't get out of it. And I've been there even after 11 and a half years. And you know what I did? Oh well. Oh well. You just get up and you go again. Because here's the thing. I want to teach you guys about momentum. Momentum is what you're going to need in this business. And we're going to talk about in this leadership, you need momentum as a leader, and you need momentum in the structure of a calendar, just in the mechanics of this business and strategy. But momentum as a leader or just this business is not win after win after win after win. That's what people think momentum is. Momentum is just force going in one direction. And you might be plowing over rocks and weeds along your way, but who cares? As long as it's going in the right direction. Does that make sense? It's kind of like, take it down to the basic concept of somebody who's trying to lose weight, and they've been just going and going and doing great, and then they go, oh, I ate a piece of cake last night. As if they erased all of the good things. One little mistake can't erase all the progress you're making. It can't turn the whole ship around, right? So don't take yourself too serious, but just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. One step at a time. Just keep going. And so momentum is so important. So we're going to talk about the 5 levels of leadership, and this is according to John Maxwell. Again, he has a model of leadership, and these are the 5 different types of leaders. And I think that this really helps because that word leader is so broad. The first level is called position. So positional leadership is basically people follow you because they have to. So it's based on a title. It's like going to work and you have a boss, and that's it. You follow the leader because you have to, not because you want to. So that's a title. Some people parent their children from this level. I'm your mom, that's why. Okay? That's why I'm your mom. I mean, you just throw your position out there. That's why I do that, okay? So positional leadership is basically, I want you to write this word down, rights. That person has the right to lead you because of their position. Okay, it's not a volunteer following. Okay? So in this one, people have to follow. Okay? Higher than that is called permission. Permission is a little higher on the scale, and people are in a relationship. That's the R in this one. People are in a relationship, and they're following you because they want to. Now, this is where charisma falls into. Some of this is, I like that guy. I like them. I want to follow them. Okay, that's good, right? But that sounds like, wow, there's 3 other levels that are higher than that. People follow you here because of your ability to produce, so this is production, results. And people follow you here because of what you have done, what you've done for the organization. Meaning there's some pins popping, there's some, some things going on, and people are starting to earn income, but the group has somebody that's leading. Now, do you start seeing how this starts separating a little bit? Because I know a lot of people that do lead in AdvoCare from this level, but they don't necessarily take a group and get serious about it. And that's what this definition says. I want to read it from here because it's so good. If you are a performer and deliver results, then people will know that you are not just dallying around. You are serious about what you do and what you can give to the organization. If you have consistently proven your mettle as a leader in the organization, then people will follow you, even revere you because of what you have done for the organization. In the case of Lee Iacocca, he managed to turn Chrysler around when it was on the verge of bankruptcy. For that reason, employees were willing to follow his lead until his retirement. Because people said, hey, this is a guy who took a whole organization, he's creating results for an organization. And you would think that might be the highest point of leadership, right? Well, it's not, because there's 2 more. Okay, the 4th one is people development. People follow you because what you have done for them. This is what you've done for the organization. This is what you've done for them. What you have done for them. And I'll pause and say this. What made me think about doing this was I had a flashback of sitting in front of Charlie Regis, his training when he was alive. Bob and I got to see him through the first couple years of our business before he passed away. And he trained on this in front of on a big screen. And I'll never forget it going, this is fascinating to me. Because I thought a leader was just kind of one thing, like you either were a leader or not, or I didn't know. I didn't know where the gauge was. So to me, this was like really, really helpful, right? And it gave me something to like, wow, this is something worth growing into. So people follow you because of what you've done for them. So this is from a focus on results in the organization. A leader on this level invests in people and helps them develop themselves while furthering the interests of the organization. People follow this leader because of what the leader has done for them. Okay, so here I am. We have this Ruby Boot Camp. There's all of you. And for the organization, people are now pinning. I know we have some people in qualification for silver, Wendy and Mitch, and I know some other people too, which is super exciting. So there's results. There's something happening, right? But this leadership comes into play if I say, Stacy, I want to come to your city. She lives an hour away. and you and I get together and let's hammer out some stuff, and how about you put me in front of some people, and I'm now zooming in and helping her, and then I'm bringing her a book, and I'm saying, hey, I read this book, it changed my life, you know, I want you to read this, and her and I do some things, we have lunch together, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it becomes more than Stacy a part of a group, it's going to zone in on what, for her, okay, that is getting in the trenches, that's going arm in arm with people, okay? Now, Stacy has to want to run. I'm not going to just pick somebody out of a hat, okay? It's going to be somebody who is running. And sometimes the person that's running is not the one that we thought was running, and we want our best friend to do that, and they aren't. So, got to get over that and find out who really is. Richard Wright, you know, right away, obviously because of his title, his position as a CEO, when he came into Advocare, and we were here when he came into that position. I mean, you know, him and Sherry definitely have charisma. He's a CEO. He has a title. The organization, that's been really cool to watch because they have had, there's just been some serious Advocare momentum. This company has gone to a whole nother level as an organization because of Richard and Sherry. But let me tell you something that happened before any of that. When they came into the presidency, they called us and said, hey, you know, we're the new CEO, president of Advocare, which we just saw them online, like everybody else. And they said, we know that you guys are one of the top income earners in the company. We'd like to fly out to your home and meet you and talk with you and know more about you and see what we can do for you. Okay? That was before Advocare ever took that, you know, huge, the time that led up to that. Okay, do you know what that did for us on a level of respect level? I mean, that was huge for us. Because Bob and I have just been in a Northwest bubble, which we've been fine with that. We are okay never having one conversation with anybody that's running anything at corporate. It's just our vision, people, trenches, help you make money, dreams, destiny, paint vision, you know, doing all this. But when somebody steps in who could have remained here, really, in our minds, says, hey, we're going to fly out there, we're going to come meet you, and they said, we want to meet you, and then could you get your top leaders together so we can meet them too? And I have chills as I'm saying this because that changed everything from my perspective about them. You would think it'd just be enough to be CEO. Yeah, we respect him because of that role. But the leadership, his ability now to influence Bob and I to do what we normally wouldn't do, oh, that went up. We were going to go to Diamond. Yay, awesome, we're there. And then they're like, okay, what about Platinum? Well, because of that influence, okay, Richard and Sherry, we're going to Platinum, right? So they were able to influence us at a higher level. Instead of somebody, you know, here going, hey, why don't you guys get to Platinum? Yeah, that'd be cool someday. You know, but when somebody here says that, what is that? That's influence to make me do what I otherwise might not do without somebody on a higher level coming in and saying that. I hope that you have a leader in your life that is somewhere doing this because it's so healthy to have somebody help you do what you won't do. And if Bob and I are leading you or somebody else in here is leading you in a positional, because this could be positional. And I understand that in Advocare, sometimes I just have a positional type of leadership with somebody, but cross-line, somebody else will come in and help somebody just sail, and I love that. I mean, that is fine, but find somebody that has enough influence over you to help you do what you normally otherwise would not do. And it doesn't have to be your sponsor because that's positional, right? So the last one is called Pinnacle. I didn't even know how to spell this before looking this up. Okay? That's the pinnacle of leadership. Okay? And this one is respect. It's right here. People follow because of who you are and what you represent. People follow because of who you are and what you represent. Basically, when I read through this a little bit further, they recognize the leader as somebody who embodies principles and values. It means that the organizational values have been aligned with that of the leaders and that of the followers, and optimal results can be achieved without compromising any aspect of the organization and the relationships of the leader and the followers. Basically, values and integrity have lined itself up with the entire organization. And now there's a culture that moves with and is aligned with the leader's values of who they are. Does that make sense? Now that was Charlie. Charlie was like, it was like I could just see I see a vertebrae, like perfectly aligned. Like, and he set AdvoCare that way, and to this day, it still has a structure that's aligned with what he set in place. You can have a culture that's all over the place. People believe different things here and there and all over. But we're so thankful that we are aligned with Charlie and the principles, the guiding principles that are in place today. So I think we should all go for the pinnacle. Now that takes time. That takes time to have the organization set in. So what I'm going to tell you is this, is if you want to become a really great leader, it is very unprofitable to try to change other people. When people think of, I'm going to be a really good leader, they think of changing people. Okay? You're going to work harder on yourself than anything else, and that's what Charlie Regis told us. He said, if you want results in your life, work harder on yourself than anything else. And leaders are readers. What are you watching? What are you reading? And who are you hanging around? Because that will define and put a framework around your leadership. So moving on to the concept of the art of promotion. Leaders are really good at the art of promotion. They know how to make something, an event, feel really important and give it a sense of urgency. So the art of promotion is the ability to make something really important to the person, perceived, very important, and give it a sense of urgency. Leaders know how to do that. Now, many of us know what announcing is. I can announce, hey guys, we're going to have a mixer on Thursday. It'd be great if all of you could come. That's an announcement. That wasn't the art of promotion. The art of promotion is, you guys, on Thursday night, Bob is going to be here. He's going to tell his story. And I'm telling you, if you have your friends and family in the room, they are going to see a future for themselves. That wasn't an announcement. That was art of promotion. All of a sudden, people schedule, if you do the art of promotion correctly, people schedule the time slot that you said, we need to do this. Their time slot went like this, it opened. Right? Art of promotion. Now, I do want you to know something. Sometimes, we've been talking about painting vision, but do be aware of this. Sometimes the fear of loss can be more influential than the promise of gain. Perfect example, children and dogs. Okay? Children. You put food in front of them for dinner, great, yay, and the little kid off the high chair, throwing food or whatever they're not supposed to be doing, pushing it away. You take the food, obviously they don't look like they're hungry anymore, and you take it away, and what happens? No, I don't want it. They scream for it, they want it. And then they eat it, right? Now, I'm not saying you do that to manipulate and you take it away. What I'm saying is, if you have momentum, you keep moving, and sometimes the fact that you're in motion makes people want to catch up with you. It's not a manipulation tactic, but I will say this. If you stop all your momentum and camp out on your best friend who you want to do this so bad, or this person you want to do this so bad, and all your momentum comes to a screeching halt and you camp out, they know you're camping. And they're the little kid on the tray, just kind of, doing this with their food. Dogs, okay? Talk about dogs. One bowl of food. One dog comes in, sniffs at it, kind of munches at it, whatever. You let another dog in the house. They're hungry or not, they're at it. Because one dog says, I'm going to get this because you might eat it all, and I might want it later. So I've learned with sampling, if I'm in a salon or something and there's a couple girls around, I just go, oh, hey, would you like it? Here, let's give you a spark. I'm not like pulling out the box, throwing samples everywhere, okay? Because I want one bowl. And then they all start going, oh, really? Where'd you get that? Well, wow, how do you get this stuff? I'm like, oh, I sell it. And then I just wait for them to kind of scramble it a little bit more. And here, let me see the package. They kind of fight over a little bit. Let the desire meter go up a little bit. And then if I do have another spark, of course, I'll say, well, if you want me to, I'll run to my car and get another one. Oh, yeah, okay, great. So that's their idea. Make sense? So, and it's not manipulation, it's momentum. It's moving forward. I've been watching my son, Super Mario Brothers, playing this game, and it's all about a level for him. He has to beat the next level. It's the level. He's like, oh, wow, like way too obsessed about it, I guess, but I guess we're all obsessed about what we care about, right? So, the level, and I'm watching him play this, and he's missing all the coins. Now, in my mind, I want to sweep the entire screen, bump every little brick, get every little hidden whatever. And I'm thinking, this is interesting because my personality style would be more like, don't leave anything behind. And he's thinking, just get to the level, it doesn't matter. And that's momentum. I mean, I never did beat a video game because I burned myself out trying to get every last little coin and everything. And we played Super Mario Brothers, you know what I'm talking about? But this kid's beat multiple games, like finished them. And I didn't even know you could finish. I was convinced there wasn't a finish. Like it just was the never-ending video game. But that's what I want, the vision of you moving in Advocare. You're going to have to leave some people behind. Oh, well. If they have a purpose, they will catch you. And Charlie Regis said, you need to always have the car running. The car's running. What do you want to do? My car's running. That mentality of I'm going, I'm leaving. And he was like that. He was like that. When you were around him, it was like you were in action. You didn't know what you were going to do, but you were on the phone with somebody. You didn't even know what you were going to say, and it really didn't matter. He had an ability just to get you in action, and it was amazing because of a sense of urgency. So I want to tell you a concept that's just really interesting. You're working with somebody, and they say you want them to introduce you to people. Okay? So here we are talking. Let's go back to Kennetha since she's sitting right in front of me. And I'm saying, okay, Kennetha, who do you know? Let's get in front of them. And you're like, yeah, I'll call you. And she doesn't call. I'm thinking, okay, Kennetha said she was getting in front of people. Okay, well, I want to move on, but yet I want to help Kennetha. And you're kind of caught in this whatever thing going on. And I'm thinking, okay, let me teach her again what to say. And I give her word choices. And then we go through it again. Let me tell you something. People do not lack ability. They lack incentive. Advocare is not hard. Calling a friend and saying, hey, I have something I want to share with you. I'd love for you to meet my friend Jenny. That is not rocket science. This business is not hard. The ability is not the problem. It's incentive. Example. Sam is at 6 years old going across the monkey bars on the playground. He'd get about halfway and get tired, and then he would drop off. He goes, oh, I can't get across. And I go, yes, you can. Try it again. Drop off the same one. I go, Sam, you can totally do that. I know you can get through. No, I can't, Mom. I'll try again. Okay, I'll try. He'd do it, and then 3 or 4 times. And finally I said, I will pay you $1 for every one you grab. What do you think he did? All the way through. I owed him $7. But I said, see, Sam, you don't lack ability, you lacked incentive. Just like you guys. You don't lack the ability to get to Ruby, you lack incentive. Have you given yourself a reason to get to Ruby? That was our first class. Why do you want to get to Ruby? Have you convinced yourself? Because you put a lot of time into this, guys. You've done a lot of workshops. You've done a lot of homework. You've put in a lot of time here. Is $80,000 enough money for you? Is that enough? You don't lack ability, you lack incentive. It's like the monkey bars. $7, 80,000. Same difference, right? So this is not rocket science. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is all within your ability. So let's talk about momentum in a strategic way, okay? Momentum and the calendar. Okay, so the 45-day calendar. Let me talk to you about strategically getting momentum in the calendar. You do not want to see any meeting, three-way call, two-on-one appointment, or mixer as a single event. Nothing is a single event. Everything is attached. Everything builds upon the next, if you intend to do it that way. So I want to tell you what I have, the word picture that's been in my mind is the snowball effect. Everybody here has probably made a snowball, maybe not. I grew up in a town with a lot of snow. And so when you make a snowball, you just take a little scoop of snow and you pack it together like this, okay? 2-on-1, three-way call, mixer, put those people together into a little training at my house, 4 people, pack it together. Teach them how to get to advisor. Then what do? You start rolling the snowball to the next event. The snow are people. You gather people. You gather people from event to event. You're gathering people, not managing the distributors you have. You're gathering the people they know, and the people they know, and the people they know, and the people they know. And you better be good at casting vision, or that little snowball doesn't grab anything. That's what grabs, is the painting and casting vision. Okay? So you're rolling the snowball. And as you cast vision, and you lock arms with people, and you help them make some money as you go, by the way, you don't have to help people make millions of dollars for them to be impacted. You may help them make a couple $100, and they're jumping on the snowball. Where do we go next? And they roll, okay? And you help them get paid. Help them get paid. Cast vision, help them get paid all the way through. And you're rolling the snowball to your bookends, business opportunity meeting to business opportunity meeting, about a 45-day calendar. So I look at the business opportunity meetings, or in this area we call them meet the teams. I look at those as the 45-day cycle is over. That's the snowball, and now the next, we start again. And what do? We roll that big snowball. We keep rolling that one and hopefully start some little ones, some new legs. Legs of business are when you have a distributor, here, they have a distributor, and you build that leg out and just roll that snowball through, and then you build several legs of business. Those are the business opportunity meetings. Okay, that's the first type of event, business opportunity meeting. The second type of event is a regional event. Okay? Regional events happen twice a year. So we have one in the fall and one in the spring, and they are strategically placed halfway between Success Schools. Success School is the national convention, happens twice a year. Everybody comes to one city. So a regional event is in regions, big event in regions. National Success School, everybody comes to one city in Dallas, Texas, right? Okay, so let's talk about this again. Business opportunity meetings happen about every 45 days in cities all over the United States at all times. I mean, they're everywhere. They're in little towns, big towns, all over. Okay, I mean, multiple, probably in the hundreds. Cities everywhere. The second one is regional. Maybe 6 to 8 cities, maybe 10 cities have the events between Success Schools, and then you have the National Success Schools. So do you see how it's like little cities, and then regions, and then one? Those are the 3 majors of the year. So what we do is we operate our calendar around this. So this is what it looks like. You have a timeline, and I bet you're going to guess what you're going to do in your workshop. So note taking would be good. You have a summer Success School, which we have coming up in a couple weeks. And then we have a winter Success School, and then back to the summer Success School. So this is 1 year. Now I'm teaching you about momentum right now, remember? We're doing the snowball thing here, right? It's going to help you understand that every mixer, every 3-way call, every 2-on-1 matters. Because you're building upon each other. You're gathering people. As a leader, you must be good at gathering people. You must become a good gatherer. Okay? So you're moving, and this is 1 year. So this is 6 months, right? So you have a 6-month time frame right here, and another 6-month time frame here, approximately. So then we have a 90-day mark right here, right? 90 days. Does that make sense? 90 days, and another 90 days. Okay. So, if Success School is here and Success School is here, when's the regional event? Exactly, it's right here. Because 6 months is a really long time not to have a really, really big event. So we have Summer Success School here. The next one we have coming up is Ladies Alive. It's a ladies conference. This right here is a regional. It's the fall regional. And then here is the spring regional. And that was spring breakthrough last time, but we'll call it something else this time. Who knows? Maybe the same thing. We'll see. But that's how that happens. So now we have 90 days between big events. Remember we work in 45 days? Mm-hmm. So what do you think should go about right here? Yep. I'm going to put business opportunity meeting right there. Now, I will tell you this. This is where, it's all timing. It's not just, we're not just playing pin the tail on the calendar. Here, it's all for momentum. And so if you're missing out on this stuff and you're just kind of like, hey, showing up to meetings, shaking people's hands, talking to distributors, I want to ask you, where's your snowball? You need to have your group. Your little row needs to get bigger. You need to have 3 people, then 5 people, then 10 people. You have 2 rows now. You have 4 rows now. Your snowball will show up in the form of people at these events. Right? But there's something about momentum. When you have momentum as a leader, remember the speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. If you're moving and you're helping people, that doesn't mean you just tell people, hey, catch up, come on, let's go. Yeah, get online, watch some videos, hope you make it. That's not speed. That's not smart, okay? You mentor people, you lock arms, and all I do, this is simply what I do in my business. When I recruit somebody, okay, who do you know? And I start leapfrogging immediately. Leapfrogging is going beyond the distributor to the other people, to the other people, to the other people, and you're looking for you. You're looking for the one that will employ you in the success system. Not the one you want to employ you in the success system, the one that does employ you in the success system. That word employ is a very big deal. You know what Danny told me? And this is just, he's the #1 distributor in the entire company, makes over $200,000 a month. So obviously, there's a lot of things that we can learn from them. But when I first came in this business, he said, Jenny, he came out to Bellingham, Washington, where we lived, and he said, Jenny, I like you and Bob, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here because you're putting me in front of people. And if you stop putting me in front of people, that makes me unemployed. So that made me realize that he's going to help me make money. That's what this is about. He is going to help me get make my dreams come true. And if we become friends one day, that is just a bonus. So I'm talking to the people that want to hold up the tent. Because sometimes when you're holding up the tent, tent stakes have to spread out. You can't all huddle up under one side and talk. Because somebody's got to hold up that end. So you're kind of like, you kind of feel like sometimes like, wow, they look like they're having fun talking, because everyone's mingling and getting to know each other. But you got to understand, as leaders, we're called to do higher things. We're called to do something more than just gratify the social part of us, which, by the way, comes later and part of it. But just know that momentum is your friend. The #1 rule as a leader, okay? Into the momentum of this calendar. Think of the bookends. Think of the snowball. The #1 rule of a leader. Ready for this? As a leader, not as somebody recruiting people. Okay? As a leader leading a group, get people to the impending event. What's the impending event? It's the next one coming. It's the next one coming. It's the most important thing, Success School. I'm not telling people about Thursday. I haven't told one. You guys are the only ones that know that after Success School, and I wouldn't have told you if I hadn't been in just training you guys right now. Because you know why? As far as I'm concerned, the plant, nothing exists after that, after Success School, in my mind. It's all Success School. We have talked to people on Tuesday before Success School on a three-way call, have never been on product. They get on an airplane and get to Success School. I have 3 gift cards left. I know we're going to fill them. And I'm not emailing out everybody saying, hey, I have gift cards now. That's tempting. But the thing about it is I've been in this business so long, and I know, I have such a strong belief about Success School, and if I talk to somebody and their life changed, I don't want it to be that long before they see Success School, so I'm just, waiting. Now, if somebody says to me, hey, do you have an extra ticket? Sure, I'm probably going to do that at this point because we're so close out. But my point is we've gotten people that last minute a lot. Because why? Spontaneity can work in your favor. You're not leapfrogging because a distributor is lazy. They're lazy. Leapfrog them. You might have somebody that is the hardest worker ever, but guess what? They don't know the success system yet, and if they do, they don't know how to duplicate it. And they just don't know what they don't know. Danny told me, Jenny, never leave it up to the new person. Never leave what up? Anything. Okay? You want to involve them if they want to be involved and be there, and sometimes they're not. Okay? I'll use Tiffany Stadler as an example. She put me on the phone with her first three-way call. Was Kelly Bolin in Arizona. Kelly got on the phone with me. She became a distributor. She started putting me on the phone with people. At that point in time, Tiffany was like, great, cool, became a distributor. Awesome, she's excited. Well, Tiffany was so new in the business and hadn't bought into everything that we were doing yet. She lost weight. She got Kelly on the phone with me like, oh, yeah, I'll introduce you to her. Great, sounds good. But Tiffany had not said, I do to Advocare. She had not crossed that line that said, I'm in. She hadn't, and I knew it. So with Kelly, I said, Kelly put me on the phone. She put me on the phone with 10 people in 5 days. She made $7,500 her first month. All I did was text Tiffany every so often and say, hey, guess what? Kelly got to advisor. You just made $300. I was counting the money for Tiffany through text, counting the money for Tiffany, working with Kelly. Kelly's putting me in front of people. I'm working with Kelly. I didn't say, hey, Kelly, oh, man, Tiffany, you have somebody who wants to go. Tiffany would have been like, great, because she wasn't in yet. So I just kept updating her. Kelly just put me on the phone with somebody. That person just got to advisor. Hey, I'm traveling over to XYZ's house to help Kelly. Everything's going really awesome. She now has 4 distributors. So now Tiffany's going, something's happening. So you know what happened? And I'm going to tell you, this is 1 or 2 things happen in this scenario. Tiffany goes, cool, good job, you guys, and maybe throws me a person here and there later, or she says, I want in. Where do I jump in? And Tiffany chose to jump in. It kind of, I was hoping she would because I could see the potential and the fire in Tiffany, okay? But it couldn't matter if she did or didn't to me because I had Kelly putting me to work. And then I had Laura putting me to work under Kelly, and then I had Emily putting me to work, and Emily and all those guys were keeping me so busy. In fact, I got to a point where I was like, hey, Tiffany, do you want to jump in on this? Because I'm one person, and they're all working me, which is awesome, but, you want in. And she's like, yeah, I want in. So she just jumped in. And a year and a half later, she's 6-star Ruby. Okay, she hasn't been in this business very long, but she chose to jump in on that. And sometimes they don't. The danger is, this leapfrogging thing is to go back to that front level. Our front line is comfortable. That's called comfort zone. Why do you love your front level? Because they're the people that you know. They're the people that you recruited, right? Leapfrogging is, I'm talking to Kelly, who I've never met. Kelly introduces me to Laura, who I've never met. Laura's now introducing me to people who I've never met. I've never met Emily. So I'm working with a whole bunch of people on calls all the time who don't live in my town, who don't live in my state. I've never seen their face. And it would have been a whole lot more comfortable just to camp out with Tiffany and try to talk her into doing more. if you will go deep, depth is wealth in this business. And what I say is dig it to China. And you know what you're looking for? Somebody to put you to work. If you get frustrated with people and critical of people, it's because you think they're going to do more than they're really doing. You're kind of holding out for them to do something that they're not going to do. Does that make sense? Don't wait. Go. Run. Find somebody. Cast vision. You do not need permission to leapfrog. I did not ask Tiffany if I could work with Kelly. Why? Because nobody owns anybody. Kelly's an individual that wanted to make money. I'm an Advocare distributor that said I would help her. It's as simple as that. Whether Kelly is first level or 18th level, it does not matter. People don't own people. I don't need permission because somebody wants help, and I'm going to help them. The whole permission thing is a joke. And I've had people say, well, they don't want me helping them. Really? Okay. Anyway, I just call people and say, hey, did you say that you wanted to help making money? Is that what you had told me on that prior call? Yeah, I did. Well, would you like my help? I would. Okay, great. So would you like to schedule a mixer? Does that make sense? Danny McDaniel didn't sponsor me, you guys. We are on his 3rd level. He leapfrogged. Jumped past some people to help us. So thankful for that. So you're looking for a running mate in 3 separate legs of business. So you have 3 separate legs, and once you start a leg, just stuff it with distributors. Stuff it with distributors like a stocking stuffer. I see a stocking, a Christmas stocking, and you just stuff the leg with distributors. Sign them up. Get them enrolled. Get them on product. Get the 24-day challenge. Cast vision, and somebody in that leg, more equals more. Don't worry about building leaders. Don't worry about building leaders. Those people will show up. They will be right in your space, and they will learn from you, run with you, be around you, and they will learn leadership because they want to be in your circle, and they're getting people in front of you. Don't try to turn people into leaders. They're going to approach you for that. Does that make sense? Okay, highest characteristic of a leader, in my opinion, I believe this to be true, but it's just coming from my mouth right now, is love. And the ability to truly care about people, okay? It's a privilege to lead people. If people are following you, it is a privilege. It is an honor that they want your leadership. Spend more time in front of people than in front of the computer, and that keeps you out of management mode. Or that will help you keep you out of management mode, spending more time in front of people than the computer.